Do you ever feel like most financial advice assumes you want 2.5 kids and a house in the suburbs? Nicole Meyhofer, founder and financial advisor at Pearlvest Capital, has a different approach. She helps you build a financial plan around your values, not someone else's expectations. Whether you're building a life without kids, enjoying solo adventures, or just want to live off your investments right now, Nicole aligns your money with what matters most to you. Curious Life listeners can now access her free private podcast series at pearlvest.com/insider, where she covers everything traditional financial advice skips. Nicole Meyhofer is an investment professional registered at IHT Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. IHT Wealth Management may only transact business in states it is registered or qualified for an exemption or exclusion from registration. Welcome to Curious Life of a Child-Free Woman, a podcast exploring today's most interesting topics through the lens of a happy child-free life. Every week, I chat with experts inspiring us to think differently, live intentionally, and find fulfillment on our terms. Whether you're child-free or seeking a space where parenthood isn't part of the conversation, you are welcome here. It's not about comparison, it's about possibility. Before we start the episode, do you know about the Curious Life Club on Substack? It's a free community to enjoy bonus content and sneak peeks, and to connect with other cool women like you. Join us at CuriousLifeOfAChildFreeWoman.substack.com. Now let's get curious together. Most of us live in a constant state of doing, measuring our days by what we've checked off the list, how many emails we've answered, how many events we've attended, how much money we made. And we center our lives around this because society has taught us that being busy is often the same as being important. At some point, all of that production starts to cost us something. Nadene Cherry knows that feeling well. After years of high performance in enterprise tech sales, stressed by the pressures of the 2008 financial crisis, she reluctantly started meditating, and everything changed. Her sales doubled, her relationships deepened, and she discovered something most of us never learn: slowing down might actually be the fastest way to grow. Today, Nadene teaches mindfulness and meditation to high-performing corporate teams at Salesforce, Microsoft, PwC, and more, helping people reconnect to who they are beyond professional bounds. Her work creates space for all of us to shift the way we see ourselves from human doings to human beings. Welcome, Nadene.
Thank you so much, Emily. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy to have you. So I touched on your corporate career a little bit in that bio. I know from knowing you outside of this episode that you have done some really incredible, successful, impressive things. And I think most of us have this idea that when we're in that space, when we're really achieving some of the big goals we set out to achieve, our life is going to be perfect. We're going to be happy. We're going to be calm. We're going to feel good about everything going on. And when you were at a peak, or maybe what felt like a peak at the time in your career, you actually took that as an invitation to pause and start thinking about things differently. So can you explain that to us? How did you get to this place of embracing meditation?
Yes. Well, I actually started for about 4 years just jumping into tech sales, hustling really hard. And I was in this place of feeling like I had to fit in with everyone around me and I had to prove myself. And the way to do that was just really working hard. So that lasted for about 4 years. And I would go in on the weekends and work late at night and not really say much. I was more like a sponge, just listening to everyone around me, all the top performers. And it was exhausting. I also felt a lot of pressure to fit in, pressure to prove myself, as I mentioned, just moving up those sales rankings. Everybody can see where you fall. And it didn't really work that well for me. I was making it, but not really, and just feeling not myself. And I didn't know what to do about it. I thought that if I kept just working harder, it would come and I would be happy. Like you described, I would see the light at the end of the tunnel. And what ended up happening is that I got the phone call that so many of us know that just stops life completely, where work doesn't matter anymore and time really stops. And that was really when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's my best friend in the world. So that was a huge wake up call and slap in the face. Also, rock bottom moment for me to really realize the temporary fleeting nature of life. And here I was so focused, hyper focused on proving myself and being someone I wasn't and really getting ahead in my life and business. So after we got through the diagnosis and the surgeries, I could spend all day telling you everything we went through to get to this point. I was left in this feeling of, okay, if I know life is short and things are clearly temporary, how am I going to make more of my moments every day? And I remember being at a conference in Las Vegas with a client. I was in this lost, lonely, confused place a few weeks after my mom went through that. And this woman who is brilliant and living in the middle of Houston, Texas, is a single mom. She was a triple CCIE certified, which means she had the highest networking level degrees. I mean, she was super impressive and she was always happy. And I said to her, "What's up with you? Excuse me for asking this. Isn't business related, but just what is up with you?" And she's like, "I meditate." And I was like, "Well, that's weird." And I was so desperate, Emily, at the time that I would have preferred medication, but meditation kept coming up for me. Someone sent me randomly a book, this entrepreneur friend of mine, out of the blue, and it was all about meditation. And I started reading it, and it was talking about the concepts that I was longing for, being more present in the moment, really maximizing, like squeezing the juice out of more life moments, even the highs, the lows. I wanted to feel it all. And so I started trying it. There were no apps back then. So I was that weird woman listening to the YouTube videos on the 156 bus going downtown with my eyes closed. And over time, things started to change. My life started to change. And I was doing this all by myself. I can tell you a little bit, if you like, about what I started to notice.
Yes, please.
Okay. So the first thing I noticed, of course, thoughts, a million, and they weren't that kind, nice, sweet, or pleasant. Mostly thoughts I was sending toward myself, about how you're not measuring it up, or the insecurity or self judgment or inner critic, just the lack of thoughts, right? And so I was like, whoa, okay, rein it back, girl. You can't be talking to yourself like that, right? Let's invite a little bit more spaciousness here. Let's maybe calm those down and be a little bit kinder to yourself. So that was the first thing I noticed. And then I started to notice as I continued practicing meditation, I'm talking like 10 minutes a day, right? Just tuning in, I started to notice my body. I started to notice what I wasn't paying attention to here before, where the stress was building up and where I was feeling tight and where I was feeling calm. And the body really informs us when we slow down and pay attention to it. And I started to be more in touch. Okay, my heart's beating quickly. I better take a deep breath now. And then I was able to find more calmness. So really started to tune into my body and also things around me. People passing me on the street smiling, but I was too busy on my freaking Blackberry to even notice. Smile with someone. And even clouds and beauty and nature around me. And the way it tied into business, the way that it ended up fueling my performance is that I was more present with my clients. So I was listening to them, and instead of thinking, okay, when can I send you the quote? When is the deal going to close? When is this going to go through? About my monthly number and what that looks like. I am really engaging. I am hearing their problems. We are having an intimate conversation that wasn't always just about work. So they got to know me for me. That really allowed them to connect with me more deeply, develop that trust. Also, I was able to put together different pieces of information, which happens in meditation, to find bigger solutions because the deal is in sales, your clients have huge problems. If you solve them, that's how you succeed from a more calm space. So I was more present, temporary nature of things always coming and going. And I was able to tune into my body and make those connections.
There's so many pieces there that I know we all want, and we're going to talk about how we get them. But let's back up. What is meditation? I think we heard about this, of course. Some of us have a practice. Some of us feel like we should have a practice, but I'm not sure that we really know what it means or what it looks like. How do you define it?
Yeah, it's so tricky now because everybody's got their own previous experience in some way or form or fashion now of meditation. And there's a million different ways to do it. I also encourage people to scrap the word meditation just because it comes with so much. And even pausing, sitting, resting are ways that you can look at it because it's the same thing. So to me, meditation is simply tuning in, becoming aware in silence and stillness of what's going on inside of you with kindness, with a really open, accepting, compassionate attitude towards yourself. It's not getting somewhere. It's not meeting the Buddha, having some major light bulb moment. It's not striving at all. It is the practice of sitting, observing, noticing with kindness, and then coming back when the mind wanders. The most common thing I hear about meditation is like, I can't do it because my mind wanders all the time. And that is the number one misconception about meditation. Even the grand masters, of course, myself included, we have thoughts. That's part of the game. That's part of the practice. So you'll hear from many mindfulness leaders beginning again, right? Just beginning again. And I can't think of a more important skill to hone in on in this super distractible world is we're constantly like this. How do we begin again? I just shared with you, I think recently, it takes us 23 minutes to get back in focus after we lose track of something. So when we have that thought, this meditation is a tool, formal practice that we can use to train our mind to begin again. So we can cultivate that focus, that presence, that calmness and compassion.
I really appreciate the way you have that kindness piece baked into the definition because what you described in your personal journey, where it starts by maybe noticing some not so pleasant thoughts or feelings that creep in, a lot of us don't even make it past that phase because it's like, you know what, never mind, distract. I don't want to do it, or I can't do it right now. Let me just look at my phone. Let me get on Instagram. But just starting with the idea that we're going to be kind and open no matter what comes up. We expect things to come up. I think that makes it so much more doable.
Right. Because if we don't pause and have a willingness to turn towards what's here, then it's going to either erupt, it will keep lingering in the back of our mind, right? And it continues to take up mental real estate inside of us. So if we can adapt this attitude of, hey, yo, whatever's here. If you can imagine John Kabat-Zinn, he's a famous mindfulness leader, says rolling out the welcome mat for everything. So imagine you're sitting, let's just do it. Let's just try it. Okay.
I'm excited.
We're going to do this with the intention of inviting kindness to whatever's here. Okay. That's what we're going to practice because that's so important. We don't want to judge our thoughts because that only makes it worse, right? So this is the practice, okay? So making yourself super comfortable in your chair, you don't need to get any weird position or anything. Just comfort. Where can you be that you can relax and be at ease? Rolling your shoulders back and just coming into the body and closing the eyes for a moment. And you can just take 2 deep breaths, just making sure that the exhale is a little bit longer than the inhale. So just join me at your own speed. Nothing fancy again. Breathing in. Again, at your own speed. Just a couple deep breaths here. Breathing in. And I'd like to invite you to bring your attention to what's called an anchor in meditation. It could be sounds, it could be the breath, it could be the hands, the feet, but let's pick one. Let's make it the bottom of the feet in the ground. So just resting your attention here on the bottom of the feet in the ground and feeling all the sensations here. Not necessarily naming them, but just feeling them directly, the direct experience, the temperature, the cushion, whether you're wearing sock, the whole thing, just feeling the stability of the ground. And when the mind wanders, which it probably already has, we are going to notice the mind has wandered, remind ourselves that everyone has thoughts like this. We're still doing it right. And with kindness, just come back to the sensations of the bottom of the foot and the ground. Rest here, continue to breathe. And again, the mind will wander. When's lunch? What's happening? How long am I have to do this? What the hell am I doing? Okay. All right. You're allowed to be here, thought. You're welcome. All thoughts are welcome. Let's just come back to feeling the stable ground beneath the foot, sensations of the body being held in the chair, the feeling tone coming through here. Maybe it's okayness. Maybe it's spaciousness. Maybe it's a confidence or care for ourselves. And when you're ready, you can just enter back into the room, still opening the eyes and maintaining this kindness toward yourself. And that's the practice. You could do that for 3 minutes. You could do it for 20 minutes. The more you do it, the more you uncover. I've been sitting in meditation for over 15 years every day. And I swear, every single time I have some subtle new insight that I notice what's going on inside of me. And it really can help inform your day, your actions, how you care for yourself, how you show up with your team, right? So last night, I went to dinner with my family. In the middle of the dinner, I started to feel not well. I could tell I'm fighting something. So I left, and thankfully they met me at home, and I went to sleep really early, and I woke up, and this morning I'm feeling okay. Like, I didn't work out. I tuned in, I meditated, and I know what's going on in my body. And now I can tell you, team member, podcast interviewer, this is what's happening inside of me right now. Now we've developed this level of communication. We're all aware. And now I can get the support that I need, right? As opposed, oh, my boss is going to be so pissed if I'm not up to this level of high performance. That's just not normal. We're not performers. We can't perform at our highest level every single second. So it's just another gift of the practice of meditation. And one final thing I'll say about allowing all thoughts with kindness is you can actually just even picture sitting at a very long table with many chairs, and you get all kinds of feelings, thoughts, and emotions, anxiety, self-judgment, shame, guilt, fear, pick your flavor. And you're like, yo, you can pull up a chair and just sit here next to me while I sit here. There's enough room for you. And then they'll sit down with you, and then eventually they will get up and walk away. And the resistance, what the hell is wrong with me? I shouldn't be thinking. Why am I having these thoughts? That they just persist. They stay around longer. So it's this totally different way. Just, okay, okay, you can be here. You can be here. Something happens in that moment where they get enough space and they get bored and they move on.
This conversation is being shared on Thanksgiving. So, your analogy of a long table with room for everyone, all of the feelings that come with all of the moments in our lives, but especially big moments like a Thanksgiving dinner or getting together with people you don't see, there can be a lot going on in our mind. So, I feel like that's just so timely to think about granting that space and that attention, even to the pieces of ourselves that we wish would go away or we wish they weren't coming up right now. It's okay. Just letting it flow through you instead of trying to block it out. I mean, logically, we can see where we have to do that, right? We have to let it in and then let it go away instead of trying to lock the door and unrealistically keep it from happening.
Absolutely. And if you think about that Thanksgiving, everybody's got that perfect ideal Thanksgiving vibe in their mind. Oh my gosh, no, there's so much drama. There's so much chaos. So I think that when you have those thoughts of things should be a way other than they are right now, that's the perfect time to roll that welcome mat, to vision the long table, to welcome that thought there of wishing things were other and say, okay, you could be here. You can be here alongside of a beautiful meal. You can be here alongside of how nice it is to share this meal with my brother or my aunt or whoever's here, right? We get twisted up when we think that things are supposed to be good all the time. When we think that we're supposed to be happy all the time, things should be peaceful all the time, that's just not how it is. So the sooner that we can allow both to be true, we can allow all parts and all feelings to just hang out at the Thanksgiving table together, the more spacious and easeful it feels, the more present we can be in our lives.
It's almost meta. There are these layers of being seen. I feel like my brain keeps going back to that. You mentioned how your performance increased at work. And I think if we just saw a stat like this that was like, oh, I started meditating, my sales tripled or my sales doubled, on its face, we feel automatic skepticism, I think, when we see things like that. But when you explain it, what you were doing there because you had capacity to be so present in those conversations with your clients. You were allowing them to feel seen because you could really get there with them and reflect back to them what they were really trying to say to you and make their feelings feel held by you, which is such a deep craving for all of us. So it's like externally, you have capacity to do that for others. Internally, you're allowing your feelings to be seen when you give them a seat at the table instead of shunning them into the corner. It feels like there's all these meta layers of just giving every entity space.
It's really funny you use the word meta. Meta is a Pali word, actually, METTA, known as loving kindness. And there's actually a passion, loving kindness meditation that I lead all of the time. I wanted to say two quick things on that. So, first, in the capacity of compassion, actually, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out because I know there's a lot of different layers, and I'm just going to explain the process, the 3C process that I teach and that I use myself that can really help leaders, human beings feel more present and really improve their performance. So, the first step is calmness, calmness, particularly in the body, because there's absolutely no way that you can perform your best if the body is dysregulated, if your nervous system's jacked up, if your heart's beating fast. And right now, every single person listening can think of what happens in the body when they're feeling panicky, anxious, stressed, overwhelmed. I mean, what do you feel, Emily? What do you notice in your body when that happens?
I'll physically sweat when I'm really stressed. My right shoulder hurts when I'm really anxious. There's definite physiological things that happen.
Right. So that's really great information for everyone to know about themselves, right? Because that's a sign. Okay, I need first step number one, calm the body, because the parts of the brain that you need in the prefrontal cortex, which is your memory, your strategic thinking, planning, decision making, totally offline when the body is dysregulated. That part of the brain is not in control. So, calmness is step number one. Okay. And calmness can mean taking a couple deep breaths, making sure that exhale is longer than the inhale, because that's how you really downregulate the nervous system. Going on a walk, it could mean calling a friend, but doing some sort of reset to calm down the body is step number one. Step number two is compassion. So, after the body is calmed down, then you can invite awareness into those thoughts, right? Those thoughts that we're having, such as, okay, how am I talking to myself in this moment? Is it kind? No? Okay. Compassion is defined by Dr. Kristen Neff. I love this definition. She's a researcher and doctor of compassion. First, noticing what's here. So, noticing the thoughts, right? Anger, fear, frustration, whatever the thought is, with that level of kindness and acceptance, really. We don't have to like absolutely love it, but we have to just notice it's here without resisting and pushing it away. The second piece of compassion is recognizing what's called shared humanity. And that means that every single person in the world, from your boss to Beyonce, has feelings of inadequacy, of insecurity, of fear, right? And so, actually, what you think makes you feel so separate connects you with everyone else. So, you're not alone. Third component of compassion is giving yourself the same kind of understanding and patience and grace that you would give your bestie or a child or somebody you care for, a colleague at work, even a stranger. Okay. So what that looks like in business for me personally was when I learned meditation and compassion and calmness, I learned that deals would fall through. I would have multi-million dollar deals that I was responsible for a 60+ million dollar book of business myself. So I would have deals fall through. And before compassion, it was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I can't believe you did this. You've lost your entire month. I'm just going to throw in the towel and wait the next month. With compassion, I'm able to say, you know what? Look at this guy, my peer, who is doing even better than I am. He loses deals too. I'm not alone. Okay. It helped me get back on the horse faster and boost my productivity and keep going, right? Pick up the phone and make that next phone call. So personally, that helped me a lot be kinder to myself in the sales game, but also be there for my clients too. If I can set the tone with calmness first, then compassion. I understand the pressure you're feeling. I understand that you also have a boss that you're reporting to, right? That's putting pressure on you. So that changes the dynamic completely and allows me to think more clearly, which is what we want, right? So, first calmness, then compassion. And step number three, once we're calm and we're compassionate towards ourselves, that's when we can unlock within ourselves that unique wisdom, those gifts that only we have, we can really stand in our power and connect to within our heart space. Calmness in the body, compassion in the mind, connection in the heart. Each one of us is born with this unique essence. What makes you you, Emily? I mean, I know, Emily, you have a genius zone. I have seen you in it. It is your best stuff. Nobody can replicate that. Each one of us has something like that. If we're not calm or kind to ourselves, we are not able to stay connected to that part of us that makes us so great. And so those are the three C's. Ultimately, ideally, we want to be in connection with our best stuff, right? Our vibrance, our energy. For me, it's my authentic expression, and we all have this. But why you are hired? What's the youest part of you? That's what the world wants to see most from you. And when we're in a state of fear, stressed out by outside conditions, we're not really able to connect with that as deeply as if we were calm. That's when it emerges. So that's where I'm helping guide people and leaders to that space. Simple, right? Am I calm? Okay, check. How am I talking to myself? All right, check. Okay, now is where I can really access reconnection to myself and other people.
Nadine, I was so excited to do this with you because you make it so tangible and it does feel simple, which I think we need that. And it's so funny. We have this thing in human nature. I don't know why, but we want to make things hard, right? If something seems it's simple and straightforward, we almost can't accept that that's going to be the key or that's going to be the solution. So then we look outward. And I think we spend so much time looking at other people, maybe comparing to other people, listen to a podcast, let me go read a book. Let me go try to see how somebody else is doing it and see if that could relate to me or if I could replicate that. And so often it feels like the answer is actually going inward. But when we don't know how to do that, we just keep repeating the cycle and looking to others. So I think what you just described is so helpful and not just simplifying, but giving us permission to allow it to feel simple and straightforward when we all want to be more in touch with that uniqueness, that you-ness. I think we work really hard to try to keep that alive and be able to share it with others, but we don't always know how to access it. So that felt so relatable.
Good. One mantra that comes to mind when it comes to, oh my gosh, hearing so much from everyone about how to do life, how to do business. And it's so freaking convincing. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go on this diet and I'm going to do this workout and I'm going to be amazing and be youthful forever. So, the mantra that I love, and I love mantras and I share them all the time on my social media and everything, is live life with a loose grip. Hold it all with a loose grip. So, what I'm saying is, when you hear a very convincing podcast about why you should try this new journaling practice, or even me, what I'm saying right now about meditation and the three C's, calmness, compassion, hold it all loosely. We don't have to absorb everything we hear. You can even pause and tune in. How does this feel in my body? Does this resonate with my heart? Does this feel aligned? And it's a quick yes or no, man, because if it's pressure and stress and it feels overwhelming, that's a quick no. I'm thinking back to Emily when we first met. Our first meeting was in an event. You told me that you were in branding. You also mentioned you had a podcast. And I told you I had a really unfortunate experience with someone in branding. And I got on the phone with this person who was super trusted and well known by a lot of very public friends of mine. I was like, okay, this person has to be the person. And I'm so excited. And what this person told me was so prescriptive about my business and how I should be messaging myself. And something in my body was like, I hear what you're saying and it sounds good, but it is so wrong in my body. It felt off. It felt uncomfortable. It made my skin crawl. And I was so conflicted about it. And then I just remembered I don't have to do this. The only person putting pressure on is myself. So I held it loosely, and that's the invitation. I let it go, and I found another pretty amazing branding coach that I absolutely worship, and I'm talking to her. But truly, that's what happened. And so, whether it's a coach, somebody's going to change your life, whatever, you got to really be self aware enough to know what's going on in the body and listen to those signals.
The loose grip guidance is, I think it's really transformative, honestly, when you can wrap your head around it. And I'm somebody who historically, I love control. I love the false sense of control. We don't actually control anything, but I can really convince myself that I have a plan, I have a strategy, it's figured out, and that puts my mind at ease. And over the years, you just get too many examples, like exactly what happened when you got that call about your mom, right? And her diagnosis. Of course, we're not in control. And the more you've convinced yourself that you are, the more those surprises really rock your world. So, this idea of holding things loosely. I attended a meditation that you did live, and you talked about, I never say this right, but right now it's like this, the temporary reality of everything, whether it's really good or really bad. And I think when I was first introduced to those ideas, it almost scared me because I felt like, wait a minute, everything is fleeting, even the stuff I work hard for. How do I know if I'm not gripping, if I'm not working hard, if I'm not really engaged and invested, what's going to happen? How do I know what's going to come next? And the more I've embraced it, it's just like this layer of ease. And I have so far to go. I have so far to go in getting better at this, but it's like little doses at a time where you can just let things flow through you and around you. And I think it's important. There's so many high achieving people who you work with as your ideal audience, people listening to this podcast. And it's almost like, am I going to lose my edge? The thing that got me here, is that going to fall to the wayside if I do things with more calm and compassion and connection? No, it's the opposite. It's like it allows you to ride the wave of all of the good things versus just being this rock, like gripping down in the water and resisting the flow.
Right. So having a loose grip in business opens you up to more positive possibilities. When we are clinging so tightly to a deal getting done, we are so focused on the outcome. Get out of my way, everyone and everything that isn't going to advance the result that I want. We are missing so much. When I started to learn about holding things with a loose grip, listen, don't trust me now. I had my eye on the prize. I never let go of my goals and my vision. In fact, when I started adopting this attitude, as you mentioned, my sales doubled. They continued to double the more I went deeper into this work. I ended up winning the President's Achievement Award 4 times at my company because of it. So
It's amazing.
let me give you an example of how clinging too tightly to an outcome can really close you off to more positive possibilities. So say, which I did previously, I was holding on so tightly to a particular deal, a multi-million-dollar deal, right? Everyone get out of my way unless you're helping me advance the outcome. And then there's a million steps. We got to go through legal. We got to get contracts signed. We got to get all these things. And no doubt, of course, challenges come up when you're clinging so tightly. Oh my gosh, when a challenge comes up, that can either knock you over the edge, you start to freak out, your entire team starts to freak out, and you create this chaotic energy that doesn't help the client. It doesn't change the outcome. But when a challenge comes up and you have a loose grip, there's positive possibilities there. I've seen many times because my grip was so loose. Say, for instance, a client was ordering 20,000 hard drives from me, and all of a sudden the part went out of stock. Okay, well, no fret if my grip is loose. Customer, let me find you a compatible part that actually has more capabilities. It's a little bit more expensive. The deal just grew. The client is more happy, right? Because I'm coming to them with more possibilities instead of freaking out about not getting the one single option that they had in mind. This happens all the time in business. If you're clinging tightly, your focus is so narrow that you don't even know what the possibilities could be. But if you're relaxed, if you're calm, if you're kind to yourself, your client, then you're able to think outside of the box. Like I mentioned, I mean, there's research. So your default mode network is responsible for self rumination. When you thinking about the outcomes of myself and what I'm doing wrong. And when you practice a pause and you meditate, that goes more expanse, right? So you're not thinking so much about yourself and you're able to access other regions of the brain, helping you with creativity and use your intuition and all kinds of things to help you advance in business. So living life with a loose grip, it helps us remember that everything is temporary, the thoughts, feelings, emotions. We try not to cling too tightly, become aware of when we're clinging too tightly to anything and just begin to soften. We can still hold it loosely, but it really anchors us back into the present moment.
How does this relate to presence, whether it's professionally or just personally? I feel like this is such a buzzword now, and I'll be in a conference or an entrepreneurial community, and we go around and everyone talks about their intention. And at least half the people say, I really just want to stay present. I just want to try to be present while I'm here today. We're seeking it, we want it. And it's one of those things that it's easier said than done. So, how does that connect?
So, holding with such a loose grip is all about the future outcome. So, your mind is constantly wrapped up in anticipating what's coming up as opposed to present in what's unfolding now. And conversely, holding with a loose grip, it's like you're clinging tightly to something that happened in the past, something you wish you would have done differently or regret or mistake, right? That can keep us stuck. When we're in the future, we're in the past, we're missing out on what's happening right now. We're missing out on connecting deeply in relationships, deep listening, hearing what other people are saying, picking up on things we wouldn't have otherwise. I mean, these skills are huge in business, but personally, just in life, I wanted to be more present in my life. I wanted to see people in the eyes, feel what they're feeling, notice beauty in nature. These are things I was missing out of. I think that at the end of the day, that's what's most important, how present we were for each of our moments. So, being present, you can practice this simply. First step is awareness, right? Noticing when my mind is in the future, thinking about what's coming for lunch, what I'm going to wear tonight, whatever. And then again, with kindness, gently guiding your mind back like a lost little puppy to where your feet are in the present moment. Really placing your feet on the ground and feeling the sensations of your feet on the ground is another great way to come back to the present moment. And we do this over and over and over again. I must have a reminder to come back to the present moment 50 times a day, right? It's a practice. But when we are, we enjoy our life more. We don't miss out on as much, and it can tremendously fuel your performance at work.
This conversation and this practice is important year round, personally, professionally, no matter what we're doing. But because we are entering the holiday season, which is a time where I think there are so many competing priorities, there's inevitably extra stress, there's more going on, and there's almost this internal pressure to be present and enjoy it because we only get it once and we're seeing these people we don't see, and so many competing thoughts going on. You have something designed to support us in this season. Can you tell us a little bit about 12 Days of Connection?
Yes, thank you so much. So this is my favorite program that I open up to everyone and anyone. It is 12 days, 12-minute meditations, each on a different topic rooted in calmness, compassion, and connection, with recordings available in a live community. When it comes to the holidays, we're stressed out what to wear, what to buy, what to make, what to get, what to do. We have a million more priorities. And ourself as the priority often gets put on the back burner. So 12 minutes is so doable. It is this chance to pause, to come together with like-minded humans just like you, take a deep breath, be guided through a meditation. You literally just have to show up. It is for anyone who's interested, curious, and wanting more connection. Zero meditation experience required. And it's a really cool way to just be with other people as well. So I get great feedback on this program. I have hundreds of people join each year. Companies buy it for their team members as a way to say, hey, we see you. We know how hard you're working. We want to give you this permission to pause 12 minutes a day for 12 days. And it helps you get the reps in, really develop that capacity to treat yourself with kindness and to pause, because it does fuel presence and performance.
I will be doing it. I'm so excited. We'll make sure that the link is in the show notes for everybody listening to this. If you want to do it with me, for real, DM me, email me. You all know where to find me, and we could do it together, which I think would be exceptionally fun. I feel like this is one of those things where, again, our instinct is there's already so much going on this time of year. Do I really need to add one more thing? But this is one of those things that's going to add ease to all the other pieces that we're committed to and we're excited about. So it's such a beautiful offering. And I'm really excited for all of us to take part. And I'm ready for the most calm, compassionate, present holiday season yet.
Yes, that is exactly what it's all about in live community. We didn't talk too much about this, but if you have not meditated in a live virtual community with other people, then you haven't really meditated, because when you practice in community, you feel this intimate presence and connection in a way that you just can't get from an app if you were doing it solo. This was a game changer for me when I first started practicing meditating with other people. And it's the same great high that you feel from a great workout class, right? Being in connection with other people, particularly meditating, it can boost happiness more than any other fame, fortune, number of likes you have. So it's a really great feeling to practice in community. I'm so excited you're going to be there.
I cannot wait. Ah, okay. So for everybody who has loved this and wants to connect with you and learn from you more beyond 12 days of connection, which again, I invite you to do with me, where is the best place for people to connect with you?
Definitely holler at me on all the socials, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm at Nadene, Nadene Cherry, Cherry. And also on my website, you can check out all of my offerings there if you're interested in bringing me into your company for my Permission to Pause or Peace Love Sales program. Send me a message through the contact information. We can chat about it. And yeah, sign up for the Monday mantra. That's really fun. That's on my website as well, NadeneCherry.com. That's just a quick Monday motivation through a mantra every week.
Thank you so much for coming, Nadine. Thank you for sharing this with us. I'm so thankful on a day of gratitude that I get to learn from you, and I cannot wait to see the ripple effect this continues to make in the world.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you and for this opportunity to be in conversation with you, and look forward to connecting with your audience as well.
If this episode sparked something new in you, come join the conversation on Substack at curiouslifeofachildfreewoman.substack.com. Podcasting is amazing, but I have been craving a more two-way conversation with you, and the Curious Life Club on Substack provides that. Subscribe for free bonus content, weekly reflections, and sneak peeks into what's next. Of course, don't forget to follow on Instagram, Curious Life of a Child-Free Woman, for more stories, guest highlights, and moments that remind us why curiosity is so important. Until next time, let's stay curious together.